Welcome everybody here, who all's here. And for $100, no, I'm kidding. So a little bit different setup there. So I'm by myself, the girls are out of town. Jusan's helping me today. He's looking at the comments there. So my first comment would be open houses and things like that. Did anybody do any open houses on the weekend? Are you guys familiar? Jenny, did anybody do open houses? Anybody know? Anybody see any open houses out there driving around? I didn't see many at all when I was driving around in Durham. I didn't see not too many open houses signs.
I saw a couple in my area, but it didn't look like there was traffic on that.
A couple here, so I'm not sure what's happening there. What about the market on the whole? Did everybody feel that the market's okay or not okay? Picking up, I'm hearing. Okay.
Appointments were good this weekend.
Appointments were strong.
Yeah.
How about typing offers?
A little bit better over, I think over 3 days, 23 offers typed.
Okay. All right. So that's good. I personally, I feel things picking up. I feel the market's picking up. I think that people are starting to move around a little bit, and I've got some numbers here to show what's happening. But I just think that the way the things are going just seems positive to me. I don't know. I get that feel. I mean, some fields have been really busy. Some people have some challenges with all the new rules coming in, but we'll overcome all of those. But yeah, let's just get right into the systems themselves. TRREB. You got a couple things coming up, and Morel just showed me today. Did you get that notice today from TRREB, right? Okay, so you would have got notices today. I didn't get mine yet, but you've got your TRREB dues going to come up, and you've got on top of your TRREB dues, there's about $700 or so. You've also got your CREA that are due in the same invoice. You've got your AREA that's due in the same invoice, and you also have now your insurance on the same invoice. So $700 sounds cheap for your TRREB dues. It is cheap. $700 for your TRREB dues. That's all we had to do. But then we have the REA and CREA, and they're about another $500. $700 TRREB, another $500 or so for your CREA, REA, and then you've got another $700, $800 for your insurance. So your total bill is going to be $2,046 or so.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Why they did this, I don't know, because I remember years ago, because I'm too old, people forget half the stuff that goes on, I think, but years ago, the board changed it to the summer, because that's when most of your closings are. And they thought most people are cash flush in the summer after June closings and that, they can better afford the dues, but somebody forgets that stuff and they decide, well, let's have one invoice instead of all these different invoices, and it'll save us money, meaning TRREB, and that's why you guys are all paying now one fee for TRREB or for December. So it's gonna be about $2,000. What does it say? Does it say when it's due?
December 31st.
December 31st, I'm thinking. Okay. All right. Did anybody here take advantage of your insurance? Not that you're gonna put up your hand. Some people did. So some people got RMTs, what is it? Massages got done. Some people got glasses. Some people got hearing aids. Some people got prescriptions. What's that? I'm sorry? No vision. No, did I say vision? No, dental. Right? They're not dental. Vision.
Vision and dental not included.
No, vision and dental. Everything else, right? Yeah.
To December, right?
I think your cycle's gone. Well, I think your cycle now. You've got so much in the bank, right? You're allowed what? I think it's $750 you're allowed to spend, or $500, whatever it is, and you've got till that year to do it. Doesn't go over to the next year. So you either use it or lose it, right? So that's how insurance works. So I'm assuming December 31st. But Kari said something about you've got to make your claims before that, maybe. Anyways, if you haven't done it, you haven't done it. That's fine. Did anybody happen to make the Toronto Real Estate Board general meeting last Wednesday? You did? Holy smokes. Huh? How was it?
Yeah, very unfortunate. There's only 350 people.
Like I didn't see it myself. I got caught up there in something else going on. But generally what they've done in the past, they say any questions and people have one question, they say, okay, vote. Like, is that what happened this time, or? Like it was completely online, right? So they had that $60 that they tried to increase. They wanted everybody to increase by $60. It was voted down. right? But the guys that voted decided not to go with the $60, so now TRREB has to find another way to collect this money. But they kept on going on saying how they want the money to support prop tax. Who here asked for prop tax? Anybody here? Right? All we wanted was realm. We didn't care about anything else, did we? But at the same time, I guess we wanted to have access to Barrie board, we wanted to have access to Peterborough, all these other boards through the MLS, which makes sense. But it seems to me that if they're going to have access, if these other boards are going to have access to our database or use our database as one, wouldn't they have to pay for that privilege? And if they're paying for that privilege, then why would TRREB want $60 from us? Why wouldn't they get the $60 from the new guys that have joined the board? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense why they do that. Here's a more serious problem, though. How many agents are on the Toronto Real Estate Board? How many, sorry? Yeah, 73, 74,000. Guess how many voted no for the $60? You wish. You wish. Okay? 74,000 agents, right? I had it written down here, but I'll just do it off the top of my head. 422 voted. 74,000 agents, 422 people voted. And now we're shaking our heads here. I just did a poll here. Only 2 of the people here voted, or East 10. Did you guys vote? Those guys at 10, did you guys vote? Did you vote yes or no?
No, but also there wasn't on for like the whole entire thing, so a lot of people were logging on.
A lot of people logged in late and the vote was already gone?
Yeah.
That's another strategy.
Right?
That's another strategy.
5 seconds to vote.
Yeah, and then the poll's gone.
Yeah.
Also online, we had about a week or so to vote online to vote for directors and those people there. So we actually had more people vote there. We had actually 2,700 people vote for your directors. So that was a little bit better. But then they had a week or so to do it. So what is the problem? What is our problem? How come we only get 422 people voting for the general meeting? Like I think like TRREB has a problem. If they can only attract 422 people to vote, then the TRREB has a serious problem here with whatever they're presenting. Either needs to be not online, maybe it needs to be in person, maybe you have to buy breakfast or something to get people to show up. I don't know. Like how do you get people to participate?
In order to go into realm, you have to have mandatory vote.
Mandatory vote would be a choice. I mean,
otherwise, you can't use realm. You're forced to vote.
Right? Because it's pretty bad, isn't it? Like 422 is nothing, right?
Yeah.
It goes for voting too. It goes for voting for your federal and your provincial and your municipal too. Like the federal has, I think, the highest. So Bruce here. Federal is probably the highest participation. Municipal is probably the least.
Which can do the most. That's the government that can do the most for
And so the most you can do is municipal do the most for you, but they get the less attention. And TRREB can do more than they can and get even less. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but anyway, so that's fine. I just think that they're wrong. There was, for some people might think this is a good idea, there was an 8% drop, and Chris Leader just mentioned that too. There was an 8% drop in population of realtors, but that's kind of a funny number. It was 8% drop in the Toronto Real Estate Board, but it was 8% drop because Toronto Real Estate Board has the prop techs in Barrie and Peterborough and London. So those agents that had dual memberships, they belonged both to London and TRREB, they just got rid of the TRREB membership, and that came up to 8%. So it's not like 8% of the agent population left the business, just that they didn't join TRREB and they stuck with their local board. Makes sense, right? Yeah, so that was interesting to think about all that. That's good. Membership, so we got that number, we talked about that. That will be due on December 31st. Let's just get into numbers here for a second. So far, we've got, as of November the 20, yeah, I had it here, yeah. November the 24th, we've got 23,000 active listings. So listings themselves, last week we had 23,600, this week 23,000. So they've actually gone down, they're going down. To break it down, there's 10,600 condos, there's 12,300 freeholds. Owner occupied, about 46% of all listings right now are owner occupied, but if you break it down to condos versus freehold, 54% of condominiums are owner occupied and 37% of condominiums are owner occupied, which makes sense, right? because a lot of condominiums are being sold by investors. We know that 1 in 4 properties that were sold back in 22 were sold to investors, so now they're trying to cash out on the other side. Sales are actually up 26% from the first 24 days in November last year, so that's strong. Breaking it down, it's 26% overall, so about 4,500 sales. Last November was 36, and for freeholds, 28 this year, 23 last year, condos 16 this year, 1,300 last year. But again, they're all still at 26%, but if we compare it to the first 24 days in October, they're actually down about 11%. Condos are down 5%, and believe it or not, the freeholds are actually down 14%. Somebody mentioned to me the other day how they still do this. I did this during COVID. I haven't done it lately, but they track houses sold per day. You guys ever, when you guys talk to your clients, do you actually talk about the market going up or market going down? Do you actually give facts themselves, or just comments? Because we used to count, when I did it for a while, we counted deals per day. And right now we're sitting about 190 deals per day. Last month we were about 214 deals per day. Condominiums are about 70 per day, and freeholds about 121 per day. Just a funny number. Properties that are selling for over asking. We've had an increase in the last week. So properties sold for over asking on condominiums are actually 16%, and freeholds are 26%. Last week it was actually less than that. So that tells me that there's some strategy going on with reducing the prices and holding off offers. Has anybody seen that yet? Has anybody seen any multiple offers? Have been up against multiple offers? You are seeing that? And you're the listing agent or the buying agent?
No buying.
You're buying agent, so you're competing, right?
Yeah.
And what price range?
Again,
$1 million price range? Okay, yeah. Bruce, you're seeing the same thing, or?
Yeah, price range, just anything over 700.
Nine multiple offers,
Yeah.
and these properties
Last
that we're talking about, are these manufactured prices? Like these people created the bidding war?
yeah.
Like they did on purpose?
Some of them.
All right, because you still get some buyers out there thinking that that's the right price, right? You know, $1 million property, the guy prices it $800,000, and the buyer wants to pay $750. Can we start there, right? We see that quite often, so that's interesting. Active leases are about 16,000 active leases, 9,500 condos, 7,000 are freehold. And the lease sales themselves are actually up 12% for condominiums, only up 1% for freeholds. So everybody knows that the condominiums are picking up a little bit? No? The leases I'm talking about? No?
Michael Smith asked how much they're underlisting it.
Michael Smith, these are properties? Okay, so when you're underlisting a property here, we're telling you that you underlist it stupid. If you got $1 million property, you list it so it's an obvious price that's $700,000, $800,000. But if you're going to price it at, if it's $1 million property and you price it at $950 and hold off offers, then you're going to get offers for $900,000. That's my feel. Nelson, you have the same thing?
About 50% of the number,
15%?
yeah, of what we think it's gonna sell for.
Okay.
Usually in and around there.
Just I guess if the buying agent has to educate their buyers, saying this isn't the real price. It's just it's a fake price, right?
The worst part, the seller's got to read the sales tax stuff. Every time you got the offer, people come in to see the house, they can't afford it. They think it's a real price.
That's where the buying agent has to come in a little bit there, but what do? You tell the guy, well, that's underpriced on purpose. You don't know, right? I don't know. Ontario was talking about doing something that was interesting, and I'm mixed feelings about this. My business side says it's a good idea. My social side says maybe not. But they want to be able to report credit bureaus on the landlord-tenant board decisions. In other words, if somebody is behind in their rent, they want to be able to report it to Equifax, so it'll show up on their credit report.
It should.
My business says it should be, right? But my social says it's not, because once one guy's got bad credit, never paid rent, he's never going to be able to rent the place ever again.
I think it should be after a month. Like give them a grace
Yeah.
period
Yeah, same thing with the.
Somebody can mark up.
It happens 3 times,
said-
4 times, and then it's up.
Yeah.
You said it can never be again, it can never come back.
Well, no, I mean, if you're a landlord and you're asking, and on Equifax it shows the guy had not paid rent for his place, do you think you're going to take on that tenant? So that's me. So socially, that's what I'm saying. This is what the paper's saying here too. Like, maybe the guy lost his job. Maybe there's circumstances. Maybe something happened. Maybe something happened that he couldn't pay his rent. But then all of a sudden now he's been, for the rest of his life he's going to have this black thing. So I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but they're talking about it. They're thinking about it. So interesting. There are other web pages out there, other websites out there we talked about last week or the week before, and that was, what's it called, Open Door, I think, Open Room. There's pages out there right now, Open Room. What Open Room does, they'll actually scan the LTB decisions and have a database of bad actors. So those are actually decisions on that. You've used that before, Nelson? Open
Room I've never had, but I know that it's out there.
Open Room. And then there's another one called Front Lobby and Rent Check, but Front Lobby is another one that you can get involved as well. So there's 3 of them out there that have some history of people going to landlord. No, they're checked to see whether or not there've been any negative decisions against them on the landlord-tenant board. There's laws out there now, CanLII and things like that. You can actually go to CanLII and see any court decision ever made. So if this guy ever goes to court, you can find it anyways, but it's not going to be as easy to go to Equifax, give him a social insurance number, and you get a printout. All right? But Bank of Canada. This is where Vran comes in there. So Vran, what are you thinking now? Last time we talked a couple weeks ago when Vran was here, we kind of thought that maybe a 0.5 point discount for December. And then I heard that the CPI went up a little bit. Went up to 2% or something in there. So now they're talking about maybe a 0.25 point if something's going to happen in December, if at all. Because the Americans, as what you said, the Americans actually just increased their rates. And it really depends on what the bond rates are doing. You pay attention to bond rates? Are they going up? Bonds are up, so that tells me that the rates will be going up, right? So maybe there won't be a 0.5 point or even a 0.25 point in December, but I think Trudeau still wants to get elected, so I still think there will be a 0.25 point. All right? That way you pay that $250 he's going to give you. So. Is it $200? Is it $200 from him and $250 from Ford? I don't know. It's crazy. So
Go on the HST, no HST for 2 months.
yeah, and HST now, just so you know, HST, it's actually not HST, it's GST. All right, so the GST is 5%. The HST, the provincial proportion is 8%, federal's 5%. So the federals are taking 5% off, and the Ontario government is saying we've already took our percentage off baby food and baby clothes and things like that. So it's not, it's happening anyways. But what are the buyers telling us? The buyers tell us they want to wait. And the sellers are telling us they want to wait. I heard it on the radio yesterday, and I mentioned it last week, what's going on. So the buyers are saying, we'll want to wait for interest rates to come down because they believe that interest rates come down, there's going to be cheaper money, and they'll be able to afford that house. Sellers are saying they want to wait for rates to come down because there's going to be more buyers and they're going to pay more for my house. So the answer is, in my mind, is you buy today because you're not going to get a mortgage for 3 months anyway. So you buy today at today's prices, and when you get your mortgage 2 or 3 months from now, you're going to have the cheaper rate. Right? That makes sense to me, so that's the direction to go. What Bank of Canada is saying is that the politicians are being a little crazy here. Even though effective December the 15th, you can, I guess it's first-time buyers can qualify for a 30-year amortization mortgage on any mortgage, right? It doesn't have to be brand new anymore. And what the Bank of Canada is saying, this is foolish, because if somebody does take the 30-year versus 25-year, they might be saving $200 a month on their mortgage payments, but at the end of the day, they're going to be paying $50,000 more interest on that loan. So the Bank of Canada is saying, even though the public thinks it's a short-term gain because it's short-term savings, in the long run, it's not. So they're saying it's not a good idea to be doing this, but government's going to do it anyways.
It's a first-time buyers only people.
Okay, anybody know that for sure? So December the 15th, you can qualify for a $1.5 million property with 5% down, and you can also get a 30-year mortgage amortization.
Even if they hadn't bought for 15, 20 years.
I never said anything about first-time buyers yet.
Okay.
All right, so first-time buyers can qualify for that. Fran, you're there. So it's first-time buyers qualify for the 30-year mortgage, and or is it just for brand new houses?
So it can be an upgrade. So let's say, for example, you're in a condo, you want to buy a detached home.
Yeah.
You can still qualify up to 1.5 with the 30
Okay, with a 30-year. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a brand new house. Okay, at one time it was, right? That was the.
Right now it's a brand.
Right now it's a brand new place. Come December 15th, they've changed it.
5% for first 500,000, then it's 10% for
Yeah,
less.
yeah, it's five. Yeah, it's five and 10, right?
Every.
So here's the problem we have, right? So December 15th is still a couple weeks away, and the application cannot go to CMHC till after December the 15th. So if you have somebody today that's nervous, and they may qualify based on the 1.5, but they don't want to firm up because they haven't got a firm commitment because it hasn't been entered into the system. You follow me here? So my understanding was it doesn't matter when the offer date was. It depends when the application for the mortgage was. So even though you're doing an offer today, is if they make the application after December 15th, they should be able to qualify. But it doesn't help the buyer today who's nervous, who says, I'm not going to waive anything until I get something firm that I have financing. So those guys might have to wait till the 15th of December. Now we've had a situation.
Pre-qualification done, so you know what.
Yeah, you can get a pre-qualification based on that, but some are nervous guys. They want to see something firm, right?
It makes sense, but the CMHC come and say we don't like the property.
Maybe the property doesn't appraise.
The condos, we have problem with the condos. They
Right.
don't like the condos. They don't want
Yeah.
to announce the condos.
So.
It's a status issue.
So we're in the middle of the transition right now. The December the 15th for sure when they make an application, but until that happens,
Were there any guidelines? Banks are still saying that they don't have anything on the table.
there's nothing from the government to say what the qualification. Yeah, so this is why our buyers are nervous, saying they don't want to maybe firm up until they know for sure what's going on. But it will be coming down, and it's a good thing. But can you imagine buying $1.5 million property with 7.5% down or whatever it is?
It's scary.
That'd be like.
It's scary.
Can you imagine having like a $800,000, $900,000 mortgage? Holy smokes, man! Thanks.
Remington have another project. They are giving a mortgage for 1.99
Yeah, there's some developers here.
The street is 1.99?
for 2 years, and all you pay just only 14,000 up front. And just wait until the closing. Altogether 20% down.
Toronto Real Estate Board, back to leases for a little bit here. Toronto Real Estate Board wrote a open letter, I guess, to the government saying bring back get rid of the backlog. Apparently in the LTB, there's 50,000 cases that are in backlog right now. There are people trying to get rid of the tenants or trying to evict them or whatever they're trying to do. There's 50,000. They're saying they got to stop doing all this. They're suggesting they should stop the virtual meetings. They should go back to in-house meetings, because apparently virtual meetings, people don't show up or have technical problems or something's going on. They spend more time screwing around with the technical side than they do with the actual case. So they're concerned about that. They're concerned about when I was a kid, maybe they still do, I don't know. When I was a kid, you used to get your driver's license or you get your new place on your car, right? You fill out all the forms there and there'd be a giant line up there. You get in line up there. Remember on Kennedy Road here, White Shield Plaza used to do it here? You get in line, and then by the time you get in there, who knows, 45 minutes later, they look at your forms. Oh, you didn't fill this out properly. Got to fill it out again. And then you got to go back to the line, and you got to fill it again, and you got to go back to the line again. This is what the LTB is doing. When the landlord doesn't fill out the paperwork to the exact T, they're saying back to the end of the line. Meanwhile, they've waited 3 months to get this meeting, and it's gone back to line. So TRREB is saying, they got to relax with these minor little things here. You got to close your eyes. If the guy made a mistake, then correct it right there. We had an agent here, Glennis Hamilton, whose father was a JP. He would do traffic tickets. I remember one of his stories once. He said that he'd be the judge, right? And somebody come up and said, I'm not guilty for this speeding ticket. Why is that? Because the guy wrote down the wrong license number, and this JP, the judge, said, really? So what's your right driver's license or plate number? And he gave it to him. He said, okay, now it's correct. Right? And this is what the LTB should be doing. Like if they say like you felt that there's no 31 days in this month, so you got to go back to the line. No, they just change it, right? So that's what TRREB is saying. Like, let's get rid of all these crazy rules, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So I don't know if they listen to them or not, but they're also saying that should be enforced stricter timelines. For instance, if they told a tenant to get out by December 31st, then he should be moved up to the beginning of the line to deal with him, so that you can maintain that timeline. So hopefully they'll do that. We'll see. Distressed homes. Toronto area new homes frozen with condo deals falling 91% below the 10-year average. So new condo sales are still having a very, very difficult time selling the new product. I don't know. Condo apartments, which includes low, medium, high-rise buildings, as well as condo townhouses, lofts, accounted for 210 units sold in October. They have 14 months of inventory in these places. We have like 5 months, right, or 4 months. So the new homes are having a hard time, and they're really stuck because they can't. What can they do? They can't reduce the prices. All they can do is maybe give better terms for mortgages, but there's not much they can really do that's going to help them. But that's a huge drop.
Where the project?
This is just general. This is all across GTA. 210. You say project for one unit, right? Has anybody done any openings for new condos? Any pre-construction projects? Anything talking about that? Everybody shaking their heads? No? So what's happening now, a lot of these developers are going out of business, not just all across Canada. And now we're finding that the banks, the people that are lending money, they have to take over these projects, and they have to hire their own general contractors and finish the projects to save their money. So rather than just giving money to these projects, they're actually taking over the projects, hiring their own general managers, and then completing the projects.
If it's a house.
No, these are condos. These are gigantic condos. Developer receiverships on pace for record year. But even then, it was, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the record year, back in 2024, there was about, this is all across Canada, there's about 90 receiverships for developers. And this year, about 140, looks like. So it hasn't gone up that much in my mind, but it's gone up quite a bit. Developers holding off projects, quite a few people. There's what, I just have a graph here telling me that projects are being put on hold. Does anybody have any projects that have been put on hold that their buyers bought? I don't think so, right? I was reading somewhere in BC, Vancouver, this agent sold 44 units in a new development complex, and they decided not to go forward with it, so he's suing the developers for $800,000 in commissions. That's a good idea too, right? Imagine that, eh? Can you imagine actually selling 44 units in a building and not getting paid for it? That'd be a shame, eh? Yeah. Okay, so now with somebody's coming up down the tubes, just to talk to your clients about if they're landlords or if they're thinking about buying or investing. But you know how Canada is thinking about slashing the immigration targets, and what does that mean to us?
More jobs.
So I got a call on the weekend from we represent the landlord, and we put a tenant in this property in April. And they just wrote a letter to our landlord saying they have to leave because the government's not renewing their work permit. So they had to leave, they got to pack up their family, they got to go back to wherever they came from. And this is going to happen a lot. So there's something like they want the non-permanent residents. I don't know a whole lot about immigration, but there's permanent residents, meaning that they're just like Canadians, they're just like anybody else. But there's also non-permanent residents, which I guess they have legal status here, but they're not permanent, they're still temporary. Right now it's sitting at about 8% of the population, and they want to knock that down to, I'm just going to make up the numbers here, 7%, and they want to knock it down to 5%. So that means guys like the one I just mentioned, they're going to tell them to go home. So how many students, for instance, they're going to knock out, that they're hoping to get 500,000 people in 2025. They've reduced that down to 395,000 people. This is across Canada. But I'm just curious how that's going to affect the rental business as well. How many students are renting that won't be coming next year or next fall, or where they're coming back? So that might affect somebody too. So I mentioned somebody about a couple weeks ago. I mentioned to you that if you've got a landlord that has tenants and they can increase the rent this year by 2%, we say 2%, 2.5%, and I said, would you? So let's say you've got something on Ryerson, or you've got a condominium that depends on student housing, and you can increase your rent. I'm not so sure you want to, because I think you're going to be looking for students pretty soon. And then an agent reminded me, I don't know, who's been here longer than, who's here before pandemic? Most of us, right? You guys remember us talking about tenants and how the vacancy was so high that our landlords had to give incentives? You guys remember this? We had to give TVs, or had to give 1 month's rent, or you had to give a free car, or you had to remember, like, the tenants. That wasn't that long ago. That was only like 2018, just before pandemic. So I can see that we're not that far away from that, right? So for leasing, right? So at the least, so if you've got a tenant that's paying the rent right now, be careful with your rent increases, and yeah, just be aware of what's going on. So what you might think is a low rent. Let's say you're getting $2,400 rent for a place, and all you can get now is $2,100, $2,200. You might think that's too low, too low, too low. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. All right, don't know.
Mohammed and Ari both had projects canceled on them.
Say it again, sorry?
Mohammed had a project in Boone.
Yes, he had 2 projects, I think.
Yeah, that canceled, and then Ari had one at Cliffside.
Yeah, was Mohammed's in, is that the one in Belleville or the one in St. Catharines?
Bowmanville.
Bowmanville, okay, yeah. That's too bad. The fellow that I'm talking about right now, the person that had to go back, said that they have a closed work permits for low-paying jobs. So this person here, anybody notice that? A lot of these students have taken jobs at McDonald's and Tim Hortons, and like, I think you probably notice it more around the universities and that, but a lot of people are taking low-paying jobs, and these are the people that the government's not letting them keep their work permits, or actually send them home.
Hortons is hiring directly from India and the Philippines.
Well, because people don't want to work. I don't know, that's weird, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so remember when the stock market was down? The stock market's gigantic. I don't understand. Why is the stock market booming?
Trump.
All over the world. Everywhere.
The whole world, like the stock markets are going up, but
Yeah. All over.
Uncle Trump is a
Only
reason.
for one person.
I don't know. I guess we should all cash out.
Maybe after January, scenario will be different.
Yeah. So here's a poor buyer that bought in 2022, closed in August 2022. That means he had to buy it before August 22. Probably had to buy it in June or so. Paid $1.25 million. Couldn't close. Extended it. People finally relisted the property at $965. This buyer then put an offer in for $965, and they rejected it, whatever it was. Doesn't matter. They eventually sold it. They sold it for a loss. $285,500 was the loss, and the purchaser lost the lawsuit. The landlord won the lawsuit. I'm not sure if the landlord's going to get paid or not, but still. So the buyer lost $285,000 difference between the price that he paid and the price that it sold for, plus he had to pay another $32,000 in carrying costs, and he had to pay another $47,000 in interest related to the financing of the seller's new build home. $366,000 loss for not closing. Hopefully he was a first-time buyer that rented. He just go bankrupt and here.
That was in BC or?
This is, where was this one? Doesn't matter. It doesn't tell me where. Could be anywhere though. That'll happen here in Ontario too. So So if you got a buyer that doesn't close, what's the problem? Well, I don't know. But what would you do? I don't know. If you can't close, you can't close. What would you do? Huh? Sure. Too bad, eh? Toronto went ahead with the anti-renoviction measures. So this passed, and it's going to be effective in, I think it's July next year, July 31st, 2025. So if anybody wants to kick out a tenant because they want to renovate the place, they're going to have to, first of all, register that, before they give the notice, they have to register, pay $700 and register with the City of Toronto that they're doing this renovation. They have to get building permits to show what the heck they're doing. They have to pay for the tenant's move. The tenant, by the way, just so you know, the tenant has every right to come back into the place. After it gets renovated, they have every right to come back into the place, and they pay their 2.5% increase in rent, plus whatever the landlord can persuade the landlord and tenant board to increase because of the renovations that he paid. So there might be a little bit more than that. But they have to pay the difference between the rent they're paying and the rent that they're moving to until the renovations are done. Right? So if they're renting from me for $2,500 and they got to move someplace for $3,000, I'm expected to make up the difference.
Why not rent a place for $4,000?
Well, I'm thinking that the renovations, the guy's probably paying $1,800,
Yeah.
and he's probably get the equivalent for $3,000. Right? That's nuts. Anyway, so if you've got people that want to renovate people in the City of Toronto, better do it before July 31st because it's going to be more difficult after that. Yikes. Open houses. Everybody knows how to do open houses. Not actually, take that back. Not everybody knows how to do open houses as far as notifying things. There's 3 things you have to do when you do an open house. You've got to go to your realtor.ca. Make sure that the public knows that you do an open house. You also have to go to the MLS listing themselves. You can go to Realm, put, hey, you're going to do an open house, and maybe that'll help you. And you can also go to Broker Bay and put open houses on Broker Bay as well. So there's 3 areas that you can load up if you're doing open houses to make that happen. Good.
We just received the invoice.
You just got it now? Yeah.
1893.
Yeah. Good.
How much? 1893.
That's for the old guys. The new guys have to pay $2,000.
Yeah.
15% more.
Good. All right. What time is it now?
125.
Good. That's a short meeting today. Short meeting. Because my gang's not here. What else?
They're saying next year market will be good, right? And how could be good when 1 million mortgage going to be new with the high rate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
Yeah. So I guess so the question is, if you're going to have like 1 million mortgages that are going to come due next year, then what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, lots of
I think so. As a real estate agent, does that mean there's going to be more product on the market?
more power sale, hasn't it?
I'm not saying power sales, but I think that the Canadians are pretty resilient, right? Like the usually Canadians don't renege on their mortgages. But what are we doing for our clients? Are we reaching out to our clients saying, "Oh, by the way, that you're going to expect a big shock here"? If you've got people that bought 4 years ago and they're going to renew in 2025, are you having conversations with those clients?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
All right. And what are the options? The options are to sell the place, aren't there? And, if you can't make the payments, then there's no other options. Make more money or
Okay,
get rid of it, right?
yeah.
So that seems to be the answers there. But, no. So sales at 200 per day, that means we're going to be doing about 6,000 sales. So 6,000 sales is better than 4,200 that we did last year. I think November last year we did, 4,200 November last year. So 200 more. So that's why I'm telling you that I think things are picking up. I think that things are going strong, and that's what's happening there. Does anybody have any properties they want to talk about? Listings they want to talk about?
Outside condo if anyone wants to try.
Condominium Richmond Hill. It's been in the market for how long? So has he reduced the price?
Reduced, yeah,
When did he reduce it?
530. It's the lowest price in the building,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it shows well. It's close to young, 75 Kingwood.
What did he pay for the place, you know? Like, is there equity there?
Little bit.
Is that why he's resisting with his prices?
No, he hasn't even, I haven't had an offer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Somebody from our office promised, but nothing came.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Sorry, and Steve, what do you got going?
I have a condo at Warden and Danforth. It's a 2-bedroom, 1145 square feet.
Danforth and Warden?
Yeah, Danforth and Warden, on
I've
Warden.
never seen it.
It's on the second floor, 1145 square feet. Parking, in-suite locker. Nice unit, shows well. Had about, I think, maybe like 8 to 10 showings, and we had a $599 holding offers just to create a little bit of interest because there's everyone living in there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone promised they're gonna bring an offer, and then offer day came, went. And then everyone that goes in likes it, but the lobby is doomsday again.
How old is the building?
20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Which
So it's
one?
just Warden and Danforth, yeah, 684 Warden. Yeah. It has a bunch of townhouses and everything there. It's just dark, like, and someone stole my sign, threw it away, found it in the garbage bin, put it back up, stole it again, disappeared.
Someone stole my removal shoe sign.
So I took a remove your shoe sign? So Chris Leader here, just to finish this, Chris Leader is talking about, and we talk about this quite a bit, and that's called the 2025 business plan. What are you going to do? What's the plan? What's the deal? And they're saying here, what do you want from your business in 2025?
Let's see the December 15th.
Hmm? So you start thinking about your business plan, start thinking about what you want to do for 2025. We like to do this in September, but it's something you might want to do now. Is it your listing presentation? Is it your prospecting? When we say prospecting, not necessarily cold calling, but what are you doing for your past client database? What are you doing on your marketplace? What is working for? Is anybody actually advertising for renters right now? Are we still using the marketplace? What's the most effective one right now? Facebook Marketplace? Same thing, yeah?
Yeah, I just posted a bunch of ads.
What about Kijiji and stuff? Anybody do that anymore?
Kijiji?
Yeah. Kijiji? What about Map Patter, what do we call it? Pad Mapper?
Close it up.
Anybody know that's not going to do anything more? No?
I learned something, I guess it must have been wrong, but I learned something new that I will share. Instead of lowering the rent when a client asks for a rental discount, do maybe the 2nd to 7th month rent discount so that the rent remains at the higher amount. And in the offer it just says months 2 to 7 will be discounted by $100.
Mm-hmm.
So that when next year comes around and you want to increase the rent, you're increasing it at a higher figure and also
Yeah. So we're all saying here, if you're in a situation where you have to discount the rent, don't discount it right off the top. Just do a month here, a month there. Just that way, when you increase it the following year, you're going to base 2.5% based on the base rent, not on the discounted rent, right? And if you look at the Ontario Standard Lease, it talks about discounts. So you actually put in there the 2,400, and you put in the discounted rent month 2, 3.
There's stipulations there as well, the $100 a month for second to whatever you said month will go against the Ontario Standard Lease. So be careful.
Yeah. So you can advise your clients, we'll try this and try that, but LTB is the final word on everything. So.
Everybody's happy, but there is stipulations in terms of how much discount you can get.
Yeah.
So be careful with that.
One thing you talked about here too also was how much do you need? This goes back to Mike Ferry. How much do you need? So if your overhead's going to be, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 a month, let's say $8,000 a month, and your spouse is bringing $8,000 a month, and that's a direct relationship to how hard you want to work. So if your client, if your overhead's $8,000, you're supposed to bring in 10, then you can work today. Maybe you won't work today. It doesn't matter. But if your overhead's $8,000 and you don't have a spouse and you're the only breadwinner, then you got to be doing a deal a month. So how are you going to do a deal a month? All right. And I go back to the farming, prospecting, database. All right. You got to go all those things there. So what is it you're going to be doing on your strategy? What is it you're going to do? What motivation do you have? What does it cost to run your business? So what strategies to do each day for business planning? and track what you do. If you don't track it, then you can't measure it. They're saying business. It's business, not a job. I like this one here. You said that for every dollar that you get, you need to be taking 30% of that money and reinvesting it back in your business. So if it's $10,000 commission after splits and that, you need to spend $3,000 towards your business. All right. So that's part of it too. I still think that everybody should be farming. I still believe that you should be picking a little farm. On the weekend, I drove around Seaton. Everybody drove around Seaton. Have you guys driven around Seaton? Everybody know where Seaton might be? If you're in Durham area, if you go to north of Taunton Road, if you go between Taunton Road and Highway 7, at Whites Road or Brock or even Altona, I guess, all kinds of development. They're building all kinds of houses there. All the farms are gone and all these houses are being built up. So if I'm thinking about farming an area, you want to get if you want to get in a farm area that's new, you want to get a farm area that's going to have some turnover, and they always do, that would be something I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at every single sales trailer there and finding out who the builders are. I'd maybe even getting floor plans. Do builders still do that? They give you the floor plans, little packages of all the different models. I'd be doing that in that particular area. So when when these people do move in, you're going to have a ground floor. Everything. There's townhouses, there's semis, there's detached, there's everything, all the above, and it just goes on and on and on. If you ever drive, just drive between like north. There's a little street called North Street. If you go from Highway 7, take North Street down, it goes into Whiteville, and even that's being all changed. So it's incredible. Grant's got his big sign up there on Brock Road. Eh? So that's things you need to do. And this one here is a good one. Stay on top of your taxes. What can I say? Everybody's laughing here, but is everybody, what can you do? Taxes come first. Anything else? Brian, you got anything to do? What's the best rate today?
Actually, the bond use has gone up. We are seeing like low force now. Low to mid force.
So the bond rates affects the long term,
Fixed rates.
the fixed rate mortgages.
Especially last couple of weeks.
Okay. So what's everybody doing now? Are people doing 3-year variable?
5-year variable, yeah.
Doing a 5-year variable? What's the rate?
Convertible any time.
Okay, what's the rate today then?
Yes. We're seeing like a prime minus 80, prime minus 85.
And prime's at 5.95 right now? 5.95 is the prime, right? So you're getting about 5.1 for long term. What are you getting for like a 3-year variable?
3-year fix.
Or 3-year fix? Sorry.
414, 424.
So it's about 1% difference. Okay. What are we advising our clients to do? If somebody says to you, what should I do? Should I do a 5-year fixed or 3-year variable? What do you guys tell them?
Variable. Variable. You can convert it any time.
Variable, okay. But you convert it at 80 basis points, less.
So for TD, they will allow you to convert any term that greater than 3-year term. Other banks do need to go. So let's say someone take a variable right now, they will convert it in March. It has to be a 5-year term. With TD, you can take any term that greater than 3-year term.
Would they guarantee the cap rate for it?
Whatever rate at the time, whatever the best rate at the time.
Best posted rate, not discounted rate.
Oh, discounted rate.
They discount like 80 points or something like that? Okay, good. Good. Anything else, Jenny? No. All right, folks.
Smith has a St. Catharines property, 174 Loop, 4-bed, 3-bath, 779.
Good. All right, folks. Anything else? Okay, going. Thank you very much. Oh, December 17th. Did you mark that on your calendars? December 17th, we're doing our Christmas event.
It's actually compared to last year.
It's going to be at up the street, I think, right?
Crystal Fountain.
Yeah, Crystal Fountain. Yep. Okay, guys. All right. Thanks a lot, then.